Hi, Dr. Evangelos Milnas at Kinetic Health. We're going to demonstrate some self-myofascial release techniques now for the shins and the peroneal muscles. So here's the equipment that you'll need. Depending on the level of restriction and what you feel when you actually get in and start performing the exercises, there's a number of different rollers that you can use. This is the traditional roller. If this is not hard enough, you're not really feeling it doing what it should, you can move to the darker roller here, which is a denser foam, and you can feel it. It gets in a little bit deeper. And if you're still not feeling it, you might want to use a travel roller. And this is basically a PVC pipe with some rubber on the outside. And this is quite intense, but some people actually do need to use that to actually feel the release. When we're working on other areas, we can also use the tiger tail. So rather than actually rolling across a roller, this one is a little more passive in the sense that you'll sit or get in a position where you can actually isolate the muscle, and then you're going to be rolling across it, releasing it in that way. So now we're going to get into the exercises. We'll be demonstrating a good technique for the shin and the peroneals.
Okay, now we're going to show you how to release the shins using a foam roller, basically to free up the muscles on the anterior, and we're going to do some exercise too for the side. But to begin with, we're going to start with the darker, higher density foam roller and have in the end use both legs to roll back and forth, going forward and kind of pulling it back and forth right across the shins, right up the ankle, right back to the knee. Keep going back and forth. Now, as you're doing this, you're going to notice there'll be certain areas where there's a little bit more tightness. So we'll stop at that area and just do short pulses in that area to try and get the release on there. So if we're going back and forth, we may go back and forth, I don't know, 15, 20 times, something like that. But once you find that little area of restriction, we're going to stay at that point for, it could be, 20, 30 seconds or so. If we find we're actually not getting into that much, we're going to take one leg and we're going to bring it behind the other one, and this will increase the amount of force generated on the foam roller and your shin by quite a bit. Can you feel that a bit more, Leanne?
Yeah, a lot more.
A lot more. Kind of, again, roll back and forth, and once again, find that point of restriction, get in there, go back and forth about, 20 seconds or so. A really good way to release restriction with a foam roller. And if you find for some reason this isn't doing it, as we mentioned earlier, you can basically use a travel roller, or there's a number of different devices we can do, or even PCB pipe. That's what the bobsledders use to release restrictions on the shin. But I think you'll find this gets in there pretty good. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do some myofascial release with a little instrument called a tiger tail. Now, you'll notice that this is very similar to a roller that we'd use in baking, but you can actually use a wooden roller, or you could use different types. One of the best ones I found is actually a very small, thin roller called a Gujarati roller that they use in Indian cooking to make chapatis. But we'll start out with this, and we'll kind of work our way around. Now, what you do is you're going to get on the shins, and it's going to be self-myofascial release, or I suppose you can take your significant other and put them to work, which is always a good thing. In any case, you're going to get on there, and you're going to work your way, and you're going to work up and down, and then you're going to find a little restriction, and you're really going to stay in there for 15, 20 seconds. Now, what we're going to do is we're not going to just work the shins on the front, but we're actually going to get on the side, the peroneals. So we'll get on there, and we'll kind of work our way around. How's that feeling?
That feels really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. So why don't you give that a try and kind of work up and down there. And if you kind of change the angle a bit, you'll notice that you'll feel restrictions at certain points. And whenever you find a restriction, just stay on that point and work it for maybe 15, 20 seconds. It's a great thing you can do while you're sitting around watching TV, hanging out. Excellent. You can really feel the release on that, can't you?
Mm-hmm. It feels great.
It does.